More on Gangster.
Thanks for tuning into the Conscious Hour. We're going to talk about geopolitics and those elected officials that we vote for every 4 years, hoping that they're going to make a difference. Listen to this one. And the new word I want everybody to use now, because it's very obvious, is called gangster capitalism. Just think about that and let's watch this conversation.
Bought this past election. They own the White House right now. So this is what's happened on this side of the Atlantic. Frankly, what I see in Europe is hard to believe, because it wasn't so long ago that there were people, like you said, that one respected, talked to, didn't necessarily agree with, but they were substantial, very interesting people. I knew Helmut Kohl. I knew a number of these leaders from various economic activities that I was involved in and advising in Europe and so on. And they were real, substantial people. Now, you just can't even talk to them, and they're so pathetic. They don't answer a phone call. They don't want to discuss anything that's outside of a comfort zone. And so this is, it's really amazing. And Europe is, of course, falling to pieces in the process. It can't tell whether it's going to be invaded by the East or the West. It's guessed wrong. Russia's not its threat. The threat is the United States, which is the more imminent invasion that's likely. They lost all sense of diplomacy. They lost all sense of economics. If it wasn't enough that they had put sanctions on Russia, which didn't matter so much for Russia, but crushed the industry of Germany and Europe, well, they had to put the cherry on top of that a couple of days ago by declaring that permanently they would stop any imports of energy from Russia and only buy LNG 6 times the cost from the United States. So these people don't even think for a moment about their own citizens or their own voters. And it's not surprising that Starmer has 11% approval ratings. I don't know who's lower. Macron is maybe in single digits by now. He's absolutely detested by the population. Merz is in a free fall. They all are not only pathetic from the point of view of Europe's interest, but they're not even decent politicians from the point of view of keeping any public support at all.
Might it be the death of ideology, Professor? It's certainly something I hope, because that's recoverable from. But when I entered Parliament in the 1980s, and I only left it a year ago or so, there were big people who had ideological moorings, and therefore the ability to argue from a coherent set of values and beliefs, and the clash of those values, Mr. Benn versus Mrs. Thatcher, for example, was something to behold. And one felt that that person belonged to that school of thought, and this person another school of thought, and they contended, and sometimes one prevailed, sometimes not. But the sense I have of Western politics now is that none of the players actually believe in anything.
It's so interesting. The one that we gave the most hope to and was, not a disaster in the same way that Trump is a disaster, but was a failure, was Obama. And it's interesting, I was just smitten with Obama during the campaign and thought, okay, we're finally getting the turnaround. And of course, there was nothing there afterwards. And he implemented the normal deep state policies of overthrowing governments and tasking the CIA with overthrowing the Syrian government, and many, many disasters in his term. But what was interesting with regard to what you've just said, there was a book written by his campaign manager, David Plouffe, describing the victory that Obama won in 2008. I think it's called The Audacity to Win. I don't remember. It's It's a while ago. But the interesting thing about the book was it was 100% tactics of the election without one paragraph that had any sense about why the guy would actually want to govern, what he stood for. It was all about whether Oprah would campaign in this way, what they should say at this moment, what they should say about that moment. Well, okay, they won the presidency, but there was absolutely nothing there after that. And so this is the sense in which these people come out of nowhere. They're backed by whoever they're backed. And then, like you say, they have no substance at all. And what
They're backed by money. And the funny story about Obama, when he was running for election, a good friend of mine who worked at the Department of Energy site at Hanford, he was from Chicago. And as soon as Obama announced his candidacy, my friend said, that guy, he's a suit. He'd sell himself to the devil. That guy cannot be trusted at all. Make a long story short, about a year later, my friend left and went and lived in the mountains, just to live peacefully, to get away from this game that we now can call clearly gangster capitalism. Every president coming in, except Kennedy, was about making profits for themselves, enriching themselves, and staying true to this other agenda, which are the oligarchs who want to control the world. And that's how we got into the situation with Iran. That had been a shining beacon of their, we've got to eventually get control and take over Iran because it's got so much wealth sitting there. Rothschilds, the Warburgs, the Rockefellers, Klaus Schwab, and the World Economic Forum. They've got to go get Iran. They got lots of wealth. We need to control that wealth. That's what it's about, folks. So when the election time comes up this coming year here, not too far away, the way time flies, remember one thing. Your elected officials do not represent you. Don't get into, oh, well, this lady's fine, she's fine. No, no, no. No, they voted for these wars. They voted every time for these wars. They voted for the killing of the Palestinian people. They kept funding the killing of the Palestinian people. And according to Francesca Albanese, which nobody's released the numbers, and I still keep putting it out there, and I want you to spread this word, in December last year, December, I think it was 16th, she made an announcement that 680,000 Palestinian human beings had been slaughtered, starved to death, blown up, whatever. Yeah, folks, that's what gangster capitalism does. They don't care about you. They believe there's too many people in the world. There's 8+ billion. They think 3 billion would be about right. So this is a reality check. This is the Conscious Hour. Please hit the like and share button. Please donate. Hit the like and share button. Leave some comments. I got to get that algorithm to kick itself up so I can get out there with further bandwidth and more people following. And then I can jump to the next stage where we're going to start interviewing people around the world to create solutions. Identify the problem, figure out an implementation plan, how to fix it, and fix it. And that's what we should be doing with all countries of the world coming together. But, right now the gangster capitalists want to go out and create a war and go after Iran, and that'll be the judgment day that cleans the house. Thanks for tuning in at the Conscious Hour. Hit again, like, share button, and please donate to the 501c3.